Morning, everyone. Hey, Facebook and YouTube viewers. All right, we are lining up the devices here and going to dive right into episode 5 of Candid Convos. If you're joining in from Facebook or YouTube, feel free to jump over onto Instagram Live with me, and you can add your comments and questions and take a little bit more of an active participation role in the conversation and get clearer video. For some reason, the video quality on Restream is not as good over on Instagram. So feel free to hop over to Instagram if you're on Facebook and jump in and participate with us. If you're happy there and you're happy with this, stay where you are. All right, welcome Instagram viewers, friends. We're just kind of getting going here. It's 10 a.m. where I'm at, and joining from a little bit different of a space this morning. I've been having technical difficulties with internet, so sitting like right next to the modem, hoping that this will help the connection stability. So, today I'm going to share a few things, and one thing in particular that I've really never talked about before or even shared with why the work that I'm doing as a psychosynthesis life coach in my programs is so important to me, and really one of the main things that attributed to me moving into this role. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that. And I know that if you follow me on my stories and have been around watching for a bit, Ninu Lamens was going to join me this morning. However, she had to take care of some personal things, so no worries, she'll be joining us this afternoon at 12 Mountain Time. So that'll be 1 o'clock Central Time. So if you're someone who's really looking into getting to the root cause of what's going on in your gut and your health, you definitely want to hop on this afternoon as well and listen to this conversation with Ninu and I. So I want to share with you today a couple of things. And as you're jumping on here, as you're joining, feel free to comment below. I really encourage participation. And the more that you are active in this conversation, the more it will actually go in and deep dive with you and release some energies that are needing to be released and felt. So I encourage you to comment if you're having any aha moments or if you have any questions, just share them, and I will absolutely get to them, okay, and answer what's coming up for you or acknowledge your aha moments or your takeaways. And sorry about the camera angles here. I can't find a great way to get this set up. So if you're on Facebook, I tend to watch the Instagram screen. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. You're still here with me. And if you're on Instagram, I know it's a little bit of a weird camera angle today with the space that I'm joining you from. So, deep breaths. So often we forget to connect to our life source, our breath, and the very thing that gives us life. And so just these moments to reconnect with and establish our life force, and just these little reminders to always connect back to who you are and the breath. So yesterday, I shared something. If you're on Facebook afterwards, you can go pop over and check it out. I shared a post yesterday on Facebook with some really big transformational moments, or a big transformational moment that I recently had. And I won't share the full details of the post. You can hop over and check that out after. But it came with some serious attacks coming at me, specifically from one person. And, you know, in a previous version of who I am, I would have probably, you know, really tried to defend myself and attack, you know, the person's character and who they are and what they're saying to me, and, you know, over explaining myself, reiterating the main points of what I had posted. An older version of me that's, really wanting to be seen and heard would probably, join in on the name calling that this person was doing and try to prove them wrong with all of my information and all of my knowledge and all of my connection to, myself. And in the version who I am now, I am so deeply connected to myself and my truth. And that also allows me the ability to honor and see people where they're at. And I know deeply that you can only conversate and meet someone as deeply as they've met themselves. And so in this next level version of ourselves in our lives, when we go in and we do the deep interpersonal work ourselves and really understand our shadow parts and our, angry sides and all of these parts of us who are like really needing to be seen, heard, and valued, we can understand that that is all that the other person is needing. And we can hold love and space for that person and not join in on the name calling and all of those things. So, we understand when we step into the truth of who we are and when we deeply know ourselves, we can understand that sometimes we are a mirror to other people. Okay, so, and we are reflecting back onto that person what probably still needs to be healed within them. And it's probably agitating them because their deep inner self is desiring to be heard. It's desiring for its needs to be seen and valued and understood and connected and communicated clearly. And in these, limited versions of ourselves, we're really unable to show up in that way. And, it keeps them distracted from the truth of who they are. And I've been in this place. I've been in this role. I've been in that version, and she comes back at certain times when certain tests from the universe come up for me. And so I can honor this person and I can understand where they're coming from and I can give them a lot of love and also not engage in a limited version and a limited conversation. So wanted to share that takeaway with you from an experience that I had yesterday in sharing my truth and standing up boldly for who I am. And if you're in a place where you feel like any of this is, hitting home for you and resonating with you, and maybe you're showing up and, attacking others or judging others, or maybe you can see clearly why someone else might be judging you or attacking at you and you no longer need to defend yourself, I encourage you to hop over to Facebook after this and check out that post. It's got some good nuggets and wisdom within it that I shared. Okay, so I want to share something now with you that brings me to this work that I do as a psychosynthesis life coach. And I know that's a big word. And basically, psychosynthesis is a combination of psychology aspects of healing and spiritual aspects of healing. And for me, this is a really beautiful combination to bring in, the groundedness to the spiritual side that all of us have within us. Whether you, believe in a higher power or your core values and beliefs, we all have that deeper part of us. And so this training has been really, really potent and valuable for me personally. And that is a huge reason why I want to show up and share this work so deeply. It's why I'm putting out all of these things. It's why I'm, aligning with my truth, sharing conversations, showing up and sharing these posts that might have attacks at them. And also, there's another part that I've never shared before that is really a huge reason or path that brought me to this work. And so I want to share that with you today. And I know for those of you who have followed me for a while and, friends and family and colleagues and so on and so forth, you know that my brother passed away January of 2021. So in January, this upcoming year, it'll be 2 years. and it still feels like yesterday and like it's not even real. And at the same time, I'm very grounded in my beliefs around this part of life, which is death. The only thing that really makes life life is the real truth that there is death at one point or another. And when I saw my brother struggling year after year with addiction and battling his demons and having a really hard time accepting the truth of who he was and loving himself for all who he was and all that he is as a beautiful, beautiful soul on this planet and in another dimension now, I really got curious. And this is just one aspect of what brings me to this work, and it's so important for me to share because it's deeply rooted for me and why I chose this path and this work is because my brother was an addict, and it's ultimately, what brought him to his death. And sorry, just a minute. Reconnecting to the breath, the life force. Using alcohol and other substances to try and numb the pain of what he was feeling and what he was experiencing. And me, as someone who loves him so deeply, seeing this. Sorry, guys. Didn't expect to cry today because I've worked through a lot of this, but right, this is the path that comes up and we allow it. So, as someone who loves him so deeply, looking from outside of the lens, looking outside of his perspective, and being both frustrated with like, why can't you just kick these habits, right? Like, why can't you just not be an alcoholic, right? Like, you're doing all of the things, you're going to treatment, you're in AA, you're working on yourself, you go through these periods of long, long time where you're sober, and then you fall back again. And so part of me being frustrated and also part of me loving him so deeply and wanting to help him and wanting to show up and serve him and help him see himself for all who he is and helping him to feel the love that myself and so many others felt for him. And so knowing that a lot of the work that he was doing wasn't getting to the depths that it needed to go, and he wasn't honoring all of who he was in the way that could really clear that energy, that could really help him understand and love every part of who he is. The bad, not that there's bad, the good, the ugly, the pretty, loving and honoring all of these parts of who he was and getting to the depth, getting to the root issue, the root cause of what was really keeping him in this cycle of addiction and continuing to treat the pain with alcohol and with substances. And so looking at the outside in, really being curious as his sister and as someone who loves him about how does this change? And I know that he's not the only one. I've seen many people struggle with addiction and battle substance abuse and, all kinds of other addictions that are unhealthy. And wanting to understand people deeply, including myself, and why we choose to be in these roles and how come we can't let go of them. How come when we do the work, when we're doing all of the things, why do we stay in those patterns, right? And so, he was in and out of rehabs for years, in and out of treatment facilities, hospitals, after destructive binging episodes with alcohol abuse, and even jail. And me seeing him in this way and holding this love and this higher vision for all that he is and all that he is worthy of and all the love in the world, and seeing him not fully be able to honor that in himself. And so this is part of why I'm brought to this work, and part of why this is so important to me. And again, sorry I'm so emotional this morning with this. Sometimes these things are very real, right? And we have healed through them, and the emotion comes back into the body and the feelings come back. And we allow it to happen. We allow it to come up, and we honor all that we are feeling. And so the work that I do, and in the programs that I create, in these conversations, that we hold together and this space together, is a way that I get to, and we get to, show up and look at the root and go into the depths and honor all of who we are, and really show love for ourselves and understand that the root is deep, right? The root goes so deep, and it is very strong, and it is very challenging work, and it is the way that we get to release all that is holding us back. It is the light that allows us to release the versions that are limited. It is the presence of deep understanding of ourselves and of others that allows us to change and choose how we show up in this world and the choices that we make. And it allows us to ask for support and to ask for help and to be confident in showing the truth of who we are, no matter what someone's outside reactions might be, no matter what someone's outside judgments may be, because we know who we are. We have gone into the root. We have discovered the depths of who we are, and we understand ourselves fully, clearly, and deeply. And this allows us to show up in the world with more light, more understanding for ourselves and for others. And so, as my brother came to the end of his life, it was actually October of 2020 that I saw him last. And I so deeply desired to work with him and to find something, because at that time I didn't know what I didn't know. And I deeply desired to find a way, to find something that could help support him and hold him in all that he was experiencing, in all of his pain, and to help him see and find his inner light, all who he is and all who his spirit is. And I will say, I'm not a therapist. I do not work with people specifically who have addictions or are moving through what I call the dark night of the soul. And I am someone who can support these people with a team of help in those dark periods of life. Because I truly believe that when we go into the soul, when we go into the self, our core values and beliefs, and we redefine what is true for us, and we understand where these parts and where these versions are showing up from, these limited versions, when we understand that, we understand ourselves, and we have that awareness piece, which is key. And when we are aware, we take our power back and we can choose again. And when the cycles repeat, we go, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. I need to ask for help, or I'm going to seek support, or I know and trust myself deeply to choose again, right? So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for holding this space and allowing me to share this truth with you, and to share, this version of my path to embodying my work as a psychosynthesis life coach through, these offerings, through these conversations, and through the programs that I offer. And I want to invite you, hold on, I'm just going to scroll through here and see what we got. Hey everyone, hey Roz, hey Rachel, Mallory, Oh, thank you. Yes, my emotions are very real. And unlike an old version of myself who would just shove them down, right? Be choking on my words, I now allow them to flow and I take the breaths that I might need, right? Back into that energy, life force. And I allow myself to be seen in all of who I am. So thank you for that reflection, Roz. Yes, we can communicate who we are with love in so many different ways. Yes. Love that, Sarah. That's so beautiful. So, keeping this morning's Candid Convos short, as we have another one with Ninu this afternoon at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. I want to now invite anyone who feels called to deepen into this work with me and to join me on this journey and in these conversations. I'm sharing a free Wild Woman activation that's going to help you harness all of these things that I've shared today. I'm going to take you through a signature framework that I've created that is literally the exact process that I've gone through that helps other women, specifically who I want to work with, to embody all of who you are, to have that deep awareness and understanding so that you can love yourself fully and wholeheartedly, and also release the versions and the roles that are no longer serving you to show up in the truth and the full expression of who you are. And so if this feels resonant for you, if you're curious about what this really looks like, what this work entails, this is a free offering, and I'm really excited to open it up and share it with you. In the beginning, I shared that this has been hugely transformative for me as a soul and as a person, and how I show up and how I choose to live my life. And it's so important to me to serve others with this work and with the framework that I've created from the modalities and the tools that I learned as a psychosynthesis life coach. So I'm really happy to open this up and to share this complimentary, no charge, for anyone who wants to show up and learn these techniques, learn the framework, and seek support and guidance in activating the truth of who you are, right? The wild woman, the one who resides within you, within each of us. So I'll share the link below that you can join. It's for free. And you'll also receive the replay as a registrant. So the live Wild Women activation is tomorrow, Thursday, at 11 my time, so 11 Central, and 10 Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. The link is in my bio, and I will also share the link below. Okay, yeah, Sarah, great question. So I shared in the beginning, and I'll share again for anyone who hopped on a little bit later. Sip of water. Psychosynthesis is a combination of both psychology aspects and psychology training, right? So getting into the depths of the mind and, why and where we store things and how to release them, and also the spiritual aspect, so the truth of who we are, and aligning both of those in a really grounded way. So for me, this was really important. I was guided to this work because I have unfolded over the last 10 years into a very spiritual being. It's very important to me, and it's very much part of who I am. And I didn't want to do like the spiritual bypassing that we can see a lot of times, right? And so the psychology aspects help us to ground into the work with the spirituality, and gives a really powerful framework and modalities and tools for us to use to harness both of them. So both, the psychology aspects that help us grow, and the personal and spiritual aspects. So aligning both of those has been really, really powerful for me and for the women that I've coached and showed up and shared with. So yeah, great question. And it is fairly new. Psychosynthesis itself is fairly new in the Western world, but was actually created with the great minds. So I studied under Dr. Assagioli's training. He's an Italian who was just a, powerhouse founder in this type of work of, yes, integrating both the psychology, right, and the spirituality. So I invite you, to come see what that entails, to learn more about the work that I do as a psychosynthesis practitioner and as a life coach and someone who just truly deeply desires to serve and share this work with others to help you align with the truth of who you are and live your full hell yes life and to honor all of your parts. All right, so head over to the link in my bio. You can register for free there and also receive the recording. And if you feel like anyone could benefit from this that if you're thinking of anyone that's like, moving through a really difficult time in their life or going through transitions, maybe they're ready to make some changes in their life, feeling a little bit stuck and unclear of where to move, maybe that's you, maybe someone please feel free to share this with them. This creates the ripples, right, that move out and really change and shift the vibration and the love and the energy on our planet. And I'm super grateful to be able to show up and share here with all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in with me. And I will be back here again live with Ninu Lamens, gut health practitioner at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Bye, guys. Have a beautiful morning.